Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here. Today, let's travel back in time. Let's go to France. Let's join the Thieves Guild and see if we can become the new Penniless King in the Court of Miracles. The Court of Miracles here is a bluffing and area control game with a couple of other things in there, in which you are going to be sending out your rogues to different parts of the city. You are going to be collecting coins, collecting cards. You are going to be fighting for control of different districts, and ultimately trying to have enough of your influence out there that you win the game. Get enough influence out on the board, the game's over, and you take the win. So let's go ahead and take a look at how it works. I'm going to show you a little overview of the game, and I'll see you after that for some final thoughts. Here we're taking a look at the game for 3 players. The objective of the game is for a player to put out all 6 of their control tokens. Whoever manages to do that first wins the game, and the game is immediately over. The board is broken up into a few different districts with some placement locations, a special ability, an area for those control markers there and there, as well as a track for the Penniless King, this token here, to move around the board, landing on specific locations, triggering standoffs in these districts, which are fights for control. As well as this area over here, which is going to allow you to send some of those influence markers there for a cost and a benefit, letting you get it out of your card, right? Remove it. You want to get rid of those things and put them out here and out here. So, the start player begins with a single coin. Second player has 2. Everybody else would have 3. You also begin with one of these cards. And so we will go ahead and start. Now, you've got 3 rogues that you begin with, and everyone begins with the same 3. You have 2 of these Strength 1 characters, the standard thugs, if you would. And you also have a beggar, Strength 0, but might net you a coin from another player later on if the situation is just right. So everybody has those. You also have over here a brute with Strength 2. It's a right-hand man, if you would. Strength 2, but that one begins locked over here on the side, 1 per player. All right? So, orange is our start player, and they're going to take a turn. On your turn, you are going to select one of your pieces, and you are going to introduce it into play in one of these spots that's empty. If they are all in play, then you will pick one up and move it elsewhere and take the action there. So you always do place or move one, and then take the action. The actions of these places are as follows. You are going to earn coins, 1 coin, possibly 2 coins up here. You are going to earn cards, these being the cards here. Or you are going to move the Penniless King, which are all the other ones. Normally 1 space, this one lets you move it twice. It always, however, will stop at these fight spaces, the standoff spaces. So if it was here and it would move twice, it will still stop there and not continue going. So there you go. Those are all of these spots on the board. Besides that, so I pick a token, I put it out there, I put it, let's say here. I take a coin. That's the first thing I do, the bonus for the spot I'm covering, like so. And then the second thing the player does is they can take the action of the district. In this case, draw a card. All right, so I would draw a card, add it to my hand there. If someone controls that district, they would earn a coin for someone visiting that district. It could even be myself. If I visit that spot and I've already controlled that district, I will get the card and that coin. So these things can cascade, and obviously as the game goes on, you get more and more. So there you go, and then that's the end of my turn, unless there was a standoff to be resolved, in which case, right now, there isn't. There's 2 ways in which a standoff would need to be resolved. The Penniless King says one needs to be resolved, or a location is filled, meaning all 3 spots have a token in there. Now, if there's a single player in there, they simply take control of that location. If somebody else was there, they take their token back, by the way, and you place yours there, you take your pieces off. If there are multiple players there, like so, Then we fight. We reveal them. We check the strengths. And we see who the winner is. They control that location. In this case, we are taking a look at orange has a strength of 1 here and a strength of 1 here for 2. Green has a beggar for strength of 0. And so orange wins. The beggar, however, says whoever wins owes me a coin. So, okay, orange has to give the green player a coin. And once that's done, players can then grab these, take them back into their supplies, and the next player will go. All right? So that's the idea. Now that I've told you what all the bonuses on the locations are, let me talk about the powers of the districts themselves. This one, as I said, draw a card. We've got over here, take 2 coins. This one over here lets you move a piece, a rogue piece previously placed on the board. It can be one of yours or someone else's. You take it from somewhere, move it to somewhere else. You will not re-trigger anything. You're just manipulating where things go. You've got this one here, which lets you possibly hire a new rogue. So let's say I go there. I am going to first advance the Penniless King once, and then I'm going to do that. So I go in here, I grab one of these, I'll take a look at it, and then I may replace one of the ones I've got off the board with the new one. Let's say indeed I do want to do that. The one I'm getting rid of goes into the river, never to be seen again, and I put my token in the new one and place it in my pool there. So that's that power. And then lastly, this one allows you to send one of these control markers over here if you can pay for the benefit. That's a great way to get rid of them because obviously there's only so many you'll have out here and they might be bounced back. Now every player can visit each of these lines only once, and they have costs that go from 4 all the way up to 8. The benefits being draw a card, move the Penniless King twice, earn your brute, so put that token in your pool, draw 2 cards, move the Penniless King 3 times. And you'll put that out there, it'll stay there, and now you are guaranteed to have 1 fewer of those and be a little closer to victory. So there you go. That's largely it. The cards I haven't talked about. You may play 1 of these per round as long as it's before there being a standoff. You can play 1. And they are going to do all sorts of little events. So for example, this one here says it's called Justice. And the artwork is quite interesting. I love it. This one says remove all the rogue tokens from a neighborhood without triggering a standoff. How about that? So you can use this to deny someone getting one or possibly having one of your own stolen and sent back to you. We've got here this one, the Magician. As you can see there, the Magician says placing a rogue token, perform the action of a neighborhood of your choice instead of the action of the one you're in. So place a rogue token, say here because I want to fight for this, but then instead of doing that power, I'll take 2 coins, right? So all sorts of manners like that. This one, take 3 coins from the reserve, and another player of your choice will take 1 coin from the reserve. Wheel of Fortune. That's enough. You get the idea of how these all work. But that's largely it. Fight for control, trickery, send opponents their pieces back, manage to keep them from gathering too much coinage, or they'll be able to run away with it over here. Fight them for control. Have better rogues so you can win. Trickier rogues. Some of them have very interesting special abilities. There's one, for example, that has a strength of 3, but you need to pay them 2 coins every time there's a standoff, or they won't work for you. They'll just be a strength of 0. So there you go. All right, everybody, that is going to do it down here. Let's go ahead and go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of the game. That's the Court of Miracles. Let's jump right into it, shall we? I'm going to start right at the top here with theme. The thematic implications and ties of this game. I have to say I was immediately captivated by the look, the theme, the trappings in this game. I love the seedy underbelly. I mean, I know it's romanticized, right? Much like the, pirate movies or any kind of literature. And so I get that, but it's still captivating. And so I find that that grimy, seedy setting to be captivating, to have a certain allure to it. And I think the theme here works. You know, trying to outdo each other, trying to take control of these different locations and scrounge your way to victory. The aesthetics are pretty good, except for a couple of minor things. Not quite enough for me to drop the rating on it. The main thing being the board, because it has such a weird shape. It's not a regular board, right? It's kind of got these sharp edges all over. It looks cool on the board, but many of these edges have been banged up. I don't know if you can tell, pick up the shine on that, but it's sort of, it hit the side of the box, so that got a little busted, the cardboard there. Many of these sharp edges are going to experience that. That's my main takeaway for the bad, okay? Everything else, I think, is great. All of the tokens in the game are fantastic. The wooden rogue tokens, I read online some folks were having problems with the player tokens that sit within them being too tight. That might have been an earlier printing. In this one, they're actually a bit loose. They work very well. And they're fantastic. The wooden bits are great. The cards and the artwork on them, great, nice tarot size, great artwork. Very evocative. The whole thing is just extremely interesting. It just makes me lean in, the look and the vibe of the whole thing. The replay value here is all right. It's pretty good. I almost gave this a plus, but it will largely develop in the same way. Plus, it lists 2 through 5 players, and it's just not as interesting with the lower player counts. This is at best okay 2-player game. You play with more than that, now you've got some competition, you've got some clashing, you've got some rivalries. Right now you've got something going on. But it still largely will develop more or less the same way each time you play. You will likely see most of the cards each game session, right? The deck is not that large, and every card is in there twice. So that's probably my biggest sort of drawback, is that replayability isn't tremendous. Do I still think there's a lot of gameplay in there and it's a lot of fun? Yes, but if you play this a lot, you will develop a rhythm of how it plays and you might stop appreciating that. The game arc. You've got cards, you've got rogues, you've got the district control, and so as those things land in your lap, as you wrest them away from other players, as things develop, then you start becoming a little bit different than the other players. And the game arc certainly picks up, right? So later on in the game, if you go to a district that you control, the location you go to has a coin. The district is the one that gives you 2 coins. A single token placement there gets you 1 coin, 1 for controlling the district, 2 for the action, 4 coins. That's a big turn. Maybe you played a card that doubles something. And maybe you steal a coin from somebody else that same turn. And so things do escalate. And the turns get a little bit bigger and splashier, and I like that game arc, right? The rivalries, like I said, will develop. Conflicts, the Penniless King travels around. Some of the spots on the Penniless King's track allow you to pick which district we have a confrontation in. So that's interesting. You can, wrestle away control of something from someone who is maybe close to winning. I enjoy the game arc here quite a bit. I think it's solid. The ease of play, smooth. There were no questions I had that I couldn't find an answer to. The cards make sense. They are well written. I like the turn structure being so simple, so no issues. Great ease of play. And then lastly, tactics, strategy, luck, all those things. It's a game that's highly tactical. It's very much about reacting to what's going on, right? There is not necessarily a long-term strategy plan here. Just get those 6 tokens out there. Just get them out as best as you can. And try to avoid players send them back to you, because it'll slow you down, obviously. So it's very tactical. There's some luck, some card draw luck, things like that. But overall, it's about double thinking and bluffing more than anything else, and I really enjoyed that. I like the subsystems in this quite a bit. The card deck, I enjoyed. Some games feel like they add a deck of action cards, and they just don't fit the vibe, or the cards aren't interesting. In this one, I like them. The conflict of the face-down tokens. I like the special abilities of the tokens that come from the bag. They're neat. I enjoy them. And so those little things that are very small parts of the game, it seems like they make the game bigger than the sum of those parts. In my opinion, that's how the game feels. This is a game that's very similar to something like Victorian Masterminds, but I like this better. I like the theme better. It feels more engaging. It feels more unique. You know, the setting and the strange, grimy sort of underbelly of this world is more engaging. Overall, I just liked it better than something like that, or something like Aladdin's Dragons, or anything of that nature. So there you go. Overall, I really, really liked it. I think this is a fantastic game. I am surprised that this one does not seem to be getting a lot of love or attention. I'm uncertain as to why that is, but I think for me, it's my kind of game. It's not too thinky. There's not a ton going on. It very much happens not just on the table, but between the players. So there's you're playing down here, but you're also playing up here, where you're looking at someone going, what are you doing? Get out of it. That's mine. You gotta stay away from that. That game is happening. So it really sings for me. Because of that, this one from me is going to get a 9 out of 10, which means it's going to get a seal of excellence. And I do think it is quite excellent. Love the look and feel of this one. It's just wonderful. So there you go. That is the Court of Miracles. Thanks everybody for checking this out with me. My name is Zee Garcia. I want to see you on the next one.